Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica to Expert. Today, we're picking back up not too long after the last speed build, and for a change, I'm actually doing the intro before I do the speed build. Because normally I start building and then I do the intro when I do the outro kind of a thing. But we're picking back up. This is still running, making us some Resonant Ender. It's actually going at a pretty good rate, so I don't think we're going to have too much issue with that. What I'm probably going to do is start off with some of the other building, and then we'll get to the Resonant Ender part a little bit in, maybe the second thing I do or something, because, I don't know, maybe an hour, and that should build up. But we're going to run that, and we are going to do some building over here at the kind of the magical structure. And I want to work a bit down on this lower section. I want to work on this. Actually, I want to work on this lower section a lot, I think, today. And then, depending, this build is going to take forever. Depending, we might work on this floor and this floor, and maybe a little bit at the top. There's a little bit of stuff that needs doing. I also want to get the other two lightning rods set up today. And I might, if I'm feeling skippy, I might go ahead and set up the flux plugs. We also need to do the underside of this, because there's going to be some decorative stuff that happens there. And we have a bit of decorative stuff to do on the outside, as well as these cylinders. So we still got a lot to do. I'm pretty sure I can most assuredly say that we will not finish it all today. This is going to be like... So far, you know, we spent one speed build doing this, I think. I think it was just one, and it's probably going to end up being a 3-part project over the course, maybe 4, I don't know. It's a big structure. So, but we're gonna get onto it. I'm gonna finish up rambling, and I guess we will dive headfirst into this beast. All right, so today's speed build, it's actually, we're only gonna speed build for a little bit. Because I got started speed building and I realized to do what I wanted to do next, it was going to require that we get Livingwood, and not just a little bit of it. We're going to need a lot of it, like stacks and stacks, stacks and stacks and stacks. So we're going to speed build for a little bit here, just doing some really broad stroke type stuff. We're putting down basically just cobblestone. I decided on I like the cobblestone here, which I know isn't really an exciting material, but it contrasts so well with the arcane stone. So right now we're just filling this all with cobblestone. We will come back through and add detail so that it doesn't just look like a barren floor. We're going to add some lights this episode, but we are going to add some detail and stuff to break it up, because it is, this is just kind of just an initial placement, right, of a bunch of cobblestone down. So we're going to get that done. We're going to raise our planters. What's going to have plants in it. We're not going to put plants in it this episode. There was a lot of things I wanted to do this episode that didn't quite get around to, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. But basically just getting a lot of this lower floor kind of smoothed out a little bit is our primary focus here, and also getting our Resonant Ender for kind of the upper floor veins that are going to run through there. We did get that ran out. That was one of my goals today, was to get that ran out. That's not to say that we're done with Resonant Ender by any stretch. I think I used a fair few hundred buckets of Resonant Ender, but the setup that we did last episode has been kicking away and creating a very large amount of Resonant Ender for us. That's not to say I still have to wait on it. That's why I didn't start on it initially, and while we do it in small batches, it took a few cuts to get it all kind of filled in, but that's all right. That's all right. And now it's just kind of building up, so by the next time that we need the Resonant Ender, we should have plenty of it, I think. The majority, I think, that we're going to be using for this, we did get filled in today. So now, next episode, I don't know that there will be a speed build for sure. I've been thinking and debating, and I know I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, because we're going to be setting up a tree farm. And that may take the majority of our episode. Realistically, it may take the majority of our episode, because we're going to do a kind of have a little bit of fun with our tree farm. So We're going to pop up here, and this is where we're going to start running Resonant Ender. Now, this first cut, I was actually just bringing over those portable tanks and doing it bucket by bucket. And I know I mentioned this later. There might be some overlap as far as what I say, but it dawned on me. I was like, oh yeah, we got Mechanism in this pack. So I was like, I'm going to switch over and make a fluid tank for Mechanism. So that way I don't have to do the bucket. I don't have to place down the portable tank. I can just use that tank like a bucket. Which did speed it up a little bit for me. Speed build wise, it's not going to be that big of a difference, I guess. But basically, this is what all of our Resonant Ender work was for. I know I had mentioned we were going to do this a fair few episodes back. I don't even know how long back it's been. It's probably the last time that we really worked on this magic building, to be honest. But running these veins of Resonant Ender, it does kind of make this upper floor pop. Now, I didn't get the glass ran across the top yet with chisels and bits. I was actually about to do that, and then I was like, well, I really need to get on to the next project. So we are going to finish out, like I said, the speed build is only about 10 minutes, and we finish out with a project. But it's a project that does go into one of our cylinders, which is kind of exciting. The cylinders, there was a lot of debate. I've been debating for months now about what I was going to put in there. And I finally, I think, decided. Now what we put in today, I think we're going to expand on it a bit, and then we are going to decorate inside the cylinders just to make them look a little bit nicer. Now right now we're going through and we're doing the floor, and of course if you remember the floor, it has a glowstone block kind of below the layer of the floor, and then we put a block above there, and then we use Cathedral's green deck prisms that put like a glass, like a piece of glass in the block, and it allows the light to shine up out of it. That's how those bits of living rock there were, but I do rip those up. We're going to change them over for cobblestone. Now right now, I'm not going to say for sure that all of these are going to stay exactly as they're laid out, but I tried to do a little bit of a pattern all the way around this. It's nothing really fancy, but it we've got light that comes out everywhere, so that was the main goal today, was just getting some of this lit up. It cuts down on my amount of mobs that spawn in here. We do have a peace candle in the very center, but this building is like a, I don't know, 9 by 9 chunk area, or 11 by 11 chunk. It's massive. So the peace candle, but it doesn't cover it all. Now later on, we'll probably put astral sorcery rituals all throughout our base to keep mobs away. But for right now, I just have peace candles in specific places, basically around where we're working. Now you'll notice that I'm running around, I'm putting grass in the bottom of these cylinders. Now originally I thought about doing a liquid, or I thought about doing, just, I don't know, like blocks, like electricity running through these or something. But I wanted something that was practical for the building. It's kind of a magic building. I wanted some kind of things inside of these that would actually make sense for the magic building, and something that we would benefit from having, right? There's actually a lot of space. Those are like a chunk in size. So it was kind of a waste just to completely make them decorative with no actual purpose. So what I decided to do was actually do various Botania setups in these. Now the one, of course, today that we're going to be doing is a big Livingwood setup. We're going to have another one that's a big Living Rock setup. And these are based off of, if you recall, the first Enigmatica series, our super Living Rock Livingwood generator system. We're going to be building that today. But we are doing dedicated ones. So we're going to have a Living Rock dedicated one and a Livingwood dedicated one. Last time around we had basically where it did both in one system. But if one was running, it would have to wait until that one was done running. And long term, my plan is, once this is fully done, we will be able to process 9 stacks of Livingwood and 9 stacks of Living Rock per minute. So basically, we can just pump that stuff out. Is it overkill? Yeah. Will we ever need that fast of generation? Not even close. But it'll be fun to set up. And of course, if you recall our old system, it eats through Livingwood and Living Rock, and it's basically to change it over to get it reprocessing another 9 stacks takes all of about a half a second. If that, it's almost instantaneous. Now right here we're raising the planter beds, just raising these up. Originally they were actually raised up, and then I brought them down, and now I'm raising them back up. I've been really debating with this room because it's so big, right? We have to fill all this entire room. Most of it's going to be decorative, but come after the wood farm is done and we come back into here to do a bit more speed building, we're going to open this up, and that dome's going to be opened up to the next floor. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And this lower floor, of course, is going to be kind of like a really lush garden to fit our Britannia theme that's going into there. And I think it's going to be pretty cool once it's all done. And that dome's going to open up. It's not going to look so just big and bulky there, but still kind of have the same general shape, but a little bit different. So I'm actually really excited for that. I've been excited for that for months, and I'm really excited to be just about to the point that we're about to get into it, right? Now, let's see. Oh, and back to the cylinders. We're going to have one, for example, that is for doing petals. With the Jaded Amaranthus. We'll have one that is for the different stone types. We'll have one that's for orchids, one that's for orchid ignums. We're going to have we've got 8 of these cylinders to fill. And so I think it's going to work out pretty nicely. And we come through here shortly and do each variety of pasture seed throughout these. So that way we kind of have each cylinder looking different, and each cylinder serves a different purpose. And they all create mass amounts of materials for us. For whatever we might need them for Britannia, for building, or otherwise. So I think it's going to be kind of nice, and it'll give us, a reasonable use for all of these cylinders. So just kind of a fly around here, you can see that we've got the stairs done. I'm starting to put the seeds down to change out the grass types. There is in total 7 different pasture seeds, and then there's default grass, right? Which technically there's a pasture seed, just default pasture seed. So we've got all 8 pasture seeds present in one cylinder or another. And then right here, we're just going to quickly finish out the resonant ender, and so that will be completely done, or actually in this next cut here, and that way it is completely done. We have the resonant ender kind of flowing through these veins, and then once we come back over and we put the glass over the top, I think it's going to look pretty nice. And then we'll have some of that resonant ender flowing out of this building in places as well, which we'll get into that later. But I think it's going to look pretty cool. Okay, we're actually going to stop there for a moment, possibly for the rest of the episode, depending on how long this takes to set up. We're going to be, I was thinking, this area still has a lot of work to do, by the way. Still has a lot of work to do. But what I need to do to push the next part, which is kind of doing the ceiling in here and some of the stuff that goes down here, not so much the stuff on the ground. I guess I could push that right now, but over the next few episodes, we're going to be doing a little bit of speed building and a little bit of like kind of setup progression stuff, I think, because we need to push magic for actually decorating and building out some of these areas that I want to do, like what we're going to be doing today. And so we're going to kind of balance it out, a little bit of speed building and a little bit, instead of having a full episode necessarily of either, because there's certain things that I need from the magic side of things, which we haven't pushed super far into to date, things that I need from the magic side. But if we take a look at what we have built so far, we actually have, and I was getting ready to actually put the glass that runs around this, but I don't know if we'll get to it this episode. But we do have the ender fluid. This is ran all the way through. Now we're not totally done with resonant ender, but we got the veins that kind of run through this floor that form this sort of shape that runs around the building. We've got all this filled in. This was a good at least 500 buckets of resonant ender. I wasn't really keeping up. At first I was doing a tank and a bucket, and then I was like, wait, we got mechanisms. So I did go ahead and upgrade to an elite fluid tank, and that way I could just place it from the tank and use that kind of like a bucket for placing that. And around here we actually have, you'll notice that basically all 7 of the pasture seeds are present in a different tube, as well as one that's just default grass, of course. But all 7 of the pasture seeds kind of have one of these tubes that it's basically taking up. And I was thinking with those tubes, I had a couple plans for those. There was a time when I was thinking about having them be like tree farms, and each one had a different tree in it. So I was like, maybe that'd be kind of cool. But then it's like, well, there's so many trees in this pack, it's not really realistic or reasonable to do that. And then I had thought about these being filled with like a liquid and something going on in there. But then I was like, well, then it's not really practical. So I decided to go with something that's going to be a mix of kind of practicality and looks. And we're actually going to be going in this one today. And we're going to be doing a little setup here. Now you'll notice that I did go ahead and I finished out the ceiling. I actually just did this. It wasn't in the speed build, but it's pretty straightforward. And this is the only one that I've actually built out right now. I will get the rest of these built out. But basically I just kind of wanted to round it up. So it kind of comes up like that. And I was thinking I might run a pillar down here, a pillar down here, here, and here. Possibly. The 4 cardinal directions of this kind of cylinders, or these cylinders. I may run them down, but I may not. I'm not sure. And I did put in elevators. I'm probably going to change the color. I did them all as gray, and then I made the pasture seeds, and I was like, I don't know why I made them all as gray, but I will probably change the texture of those, try to match it up a little bit. I mean, this will be like yellow, or orange or something like that. But I'm not sure if I want the pillar running down or if I just want them to be kind of the clean glass right there. I think structurally it would make more sense for them to have a pillar, but then again, this is a magic build, so they don't really necessarily have to be like structurally makes sense, I suppose, but I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to be setting up something in here, and we're going to be setting up automatic Livingwood. Now, I have some extra materials. We're going to be doing pretty much a duplicated setup for living rock. And that I'm probably just going to do off camera because Livingwood will cover it and then some. Living rock is pretty much just the back half of the Livingwood setup. And it's going to be set up over on this side. So each of these setups is going to have 8 pure daisies. And this is going to be really similar to the system that we used the last time around in Enigmatica. If you recall that, where we used the builders to basically like super mass produce living wood and living rock. And we're going to be doing kind of the same thing with this. And I may end up expanding this setup out to maybe have, like right now each one is only 8 pure daisies. It can easily expand out to where we do, 40 pure daisies or more. But right now I'm starting with 8 because it's reasonable. And then we probably will end up going crazy with it and have it be like a really like insane system where maybe we can do, hundreds of living rock and living wood at a time. Right now this will, with 8 pure daisies, this will do a stack of living wood or a stack of living rock at like per operation, so like every minute, which is pretty good. But I do think I would like to expand it just for the sake of expanding. It's not really a necessity because it's going to, once this is fully set up, it's going to like super mass produce the stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to first put in, let's see, we'll start with the dropping system, because of course to make living wood within this pack, it does require that you first take wood and drop it into starlight. Any kind of wood, of course, into starlight to get your infused wood, and then change that over to living wood. So what we're going to do, I think I'm going to have it be kind of on this corner bit. Originally I was planning on having it floating, but I think we're going to do it on this corner bit instead. And we're going to put in, we'll have it be sitting here. So we're going to put in a frame trapdoor there, and, I'm sorry, down by 1. But I can actually go ahead and place out this and this. And these are just block craftery trapdoors, and we're going to put one right there, and we'll go ahead, oops, we'll go ahead and flip these up, so just like that. And we're going to do this as mana glass. It's not meant to, really be like super noticeable, so we're going to have mana glass just sitting there, and then inside of here we're going to have our liquid starlight right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put in a dropper, and it's going to be setting right here. And just kind of facing down. Now right now it says redstone mode deactivation. I want to leave it as that. That's important. And it's just going to drop straight down into our liquid starlight. So let me get some wood. But that's like one thing that we're going to work on next episode is going to be a tree farm. I want to get an actual tree farm set up. I can't remember. I don't think this pack has bonsais. No. And if it did, we would only use it for like random types of wood, like kind of miscellaneous types of wood. But it's all the better that it doesn't have it, to be honest. All right, so if we throw in, a piece of wood there, it's going to drop it down, and it is then going to turn that into infused wood. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put in a cache, and this cache, but if we put in that there, and we put in a advanced item collector there, and we put in an item filter, and we're going to say that you accept just infused wood. Okay, now hopefully we've got enough range to actually be able to get this, I don't know, a radius of 6 out. I don't know if we'll be able to manage it. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's not going to pick it up. Normally those can go a lot bigger on the radius. I didn't realize there was only 6 in this pack. So in that case, yeah, let's go here. So we're going to put in our frame drawer right there. We're going to go ahead and just lock in our infused wood. And I have to get my key, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter that much. And we're going to find our frame drawer here. And we're just going to put in an advanced item collector right there. So now I think we should be plenty fine with being able to reach that from here. So if we were to throw in, say, 62 oak wood, it's going to start dropping that. And if we take a look here, our frame drawer is going to start collecting that infused wood. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, let's see, let's pull up this. This part might be a little bit more tricky to here. This is all lit up. And if we put in, let me open this up just kind of temporarily a little bit, and then I'll fix it back, just so we can kind of come and go as we please. But if we put in, let's do it all the way down. I've got a couple red string things here. We're going to go ahead and just put in a red string comparator right there. And we're going to have a comparator reading off of that. Okay, the red string comparator is actually not reading off of that. Okay, in that case, I went ahead and got rid of the red string comparators because I was planning on reading off the drawers, but since I don't read off the drawers, that's fine. What we're going to do instead is just do a redstone upgrade onto the drawers. That'll work just as well. I was just trying to avoid conduits if I could, but nope. Then what we're going to do, input signal is red, that's fine. We're going to run that down, and we're going to say output signal is red. Okay, so it's going to emit a power of 1. There we go. And we are going to put in now a basic redstone interface. And we're going to put one more thing down, but I'm going to leave this as an example. We're going to go ahead and put down a potentiometer right here. We're not going to do anything with it just yet. Now if we take this, we shift right click on that, and we come up and we go to our automatic precision dropper. We shift right click there. That means that whenever that gets a signal, which right now of course it does have a signal because there's a power of 1 flowing through this, it's going to send a redstone signal up here. So now if we were to throw in oak wood, that oak wood does not drop because we don't want any more to drop than what we have to. And it kind of works out because the automatic precision dropper kind of almost the same color as the hardened stone. A little bit off, but that's fine. Now, if we come back over, and of course you could do the same thing with a hopper, feeding into a open grate if you wanted to. If I wanted to keep it really Britannia pure, I could. So we're going to go with that. And so that's basically just going to tell it when to power this off. And then we are going to have to send the wood over. We're going to do that once we set up our tree farm. Right now I don't have automatic wood coming in. I do have a lot of oak and stuff available to make some of this, and we will play around with it at the end of the episode. But what we're going to do is we're going to set up the potentiometer to, let's go to like a 10. I think that's fine. That's going to keep us, probably like 40 something stacks of the vibrant wood in stock. I think that's plenty. Probably overkill, but we will probably be using it a bit for building. Actually, I know for a fact we will. So I do want to keep some of that on hand. Now what we're going to do is we need to send the vibrant wood over. Now, let me see something here. I believe the builder, does it read off of things above and below it, or just above it? I was thinking it did inventories below it as well. Let me check. Okay, no, it's actually just on top of it, it seems. So what we'll do instead is we'll just run this up like so. Input still red. Okay. That should be fine for us. Let me, I'm going to have to facade this. I'm going to do that here in a minute, but we'll have the builder so it's visible. Originally I thought about just hiding it under the floor. We could do that just as easy, but I do think that I want it visible in this setup. And of course you can do this like pure Britannia. I've done it a number of times, but I find that builders, if you just want to just mass produce a lot of this stuff, builders are so good for it. They really are. Now what we're going to do, I've got a couple flux points here. We're just going to plug up a flux point. So there'll be like a couple little things kind of sticking out right here. Kind of visible here. Let's go ahead and select our network. That's going to feed over some power to our builder. And we're going to say redstone mode is ignore. Okay, for this one. Or no, let's actually say redstone is off to activate. Let's do that. I think I want to, it kind of comes down to, do we want a lot of living wood in here and it break whenever it's needed, or do we want to keep it kind of clean whenever it's not in use? And I think I'd rather keep it clean when it's not in use. So let's go ahead, we'll pop back down. Now what we're going to do is, let's grab our hardened stone. Just to make this a little bit easier, we're going to go ahead and just build that over like so, and then we're going to come down to here, build that over like so, and we'll go ahead and set this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the shape card. We're going to we're going to shift right click on the builder, shift right click there, shift right click there, and then we're going to just right click this, and we're going to say it's going to be a solid box. There we go. Yeah, it's exactly how we need it. Now let's go ahead at this point and just break off this and break off this, because we don't need that anymore. And then we're going to go ahead and say keep running with a redstone signal. Yeah, I think with the redstone off to activate, I think it's going to keep running. But if we put this in there, it's going to now, if it can, I'm sorry, on to act. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. On to activate. We're going to say redstone mode is on to activate. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that, because this is going to be emitting a redstone signal. Okay, actually, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's change my mind slightly, because I do want it to be clean. I mean, we could keep it filled out with living wood so it would look like this, like all the time. But I don't want to do that. I want to keep it, if it's not running, it's going to be clean. So what we're going to do is, let's do that. Just put that in my offhand. Let's pull up the, where'd you go? Down there. Of course you are. We'll just switch the sides for the builder, because the one that it doesn't matter about the redstone can go over on the other side. I don't have to move anything or change anything really. But we are going to change our storage drawer. That's going to be the only thing that changes. So what we'll do is we'll set up, instead we'll have this builder setting here. and this one is going to have the shape card. So we'll say it's off to activate, keep running with redstone signal. That's all good. And then what we'll do is, can I not, no, I can't pick it up and move it. That's fine. We're going to drop this down. We'll set it here. And then, let me pop over. And then the rest of this is all the same. Input there. Okay. So what we're going to do, let's pop back through. We're going to put our flux point right there. I am going to have items come in onto this builder. We'll get to that in just a moment. And that's going to then, of course, allow it to build the Livingwood. But we're going to keep the storage over here. Okay, and then what we're going to do, does this emit a strong signal? I can't remember, because if so, I might have to put a block kind of separating this. But if we do, like, input on the black channel, let's say, and then we came down right here, and we put redstone in and said that you're outputting on the black channel. Okay, it's not, but then if we change this over to, say, the red channel, oh, you know what though? I don't have any wood in that, so it wouldn't emit a signal regardless. Okay, so red is emitting power of 1. Black, on the other hand, is not emitting a signal. Okay, beautiful. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead. That means I can have those stacked right there, which is great. And that's going to be the black channel on the input. And I can go ahead and place in that and that. Okay. Now what we need to do, let's see, we have this builder here, and we're going to have another builder that sets, let's see, I'll have to have the chest or some kind of inventory here, and then I would have another builder that sits here, and we'll go ahead and have a flux point there. Of course, I could use a conduit. Flux points are cheap, and I like the way they look more, so we're going to go with flux points. Now what we're going to do is, I've got a couple skystone chests here. We're going to use these. So skystone chest there, and skystone chest there. So they kind of blend in. And then we're going to say this one is just ignore redstone. It's always on. This one is the off to activate one. Okay, and we're going to go ahead. That's the black channel that's reading that. And that's going to be the one that controls our Livingwood for us. So hopefully this isn't too bad. I hope it's pretty straightforward. So over here we're going to have a comparator once again. And it's going to come out right there. So we're going to be running off the same potentiometer instead of having two different ones, I think. So that comes out. It's going to be the same setting for this, and so we'll have the redstone then come out of there, go into a basic redstone interface, and this interface then is going to connect up to the builder that actually places the block. So once there is you know, a bit of Livingwood, like 40 something stacks, it's going to stop running. So it'll be this one right here. So as long as it doesn't have a redstone signal, it'll run, but as soon as it gets that redstone signal, then it is going to stop until that redstone signal is then removed. I made redstone containers. I don't think those are going to work out. I had a plan originally for them, but I just don't think they're going to work out for us like I was thinking. So what we're going to do then is this builder here, basically just have to handle how the items get from here to over here, and from here then to there. Probably just run, let's see, I mean, we could do something like, if I had blood magic a little bit farther, I could just do nodes. It'd be an easy fix. But as it stands right now, if we were to do like this, see, I'd have to push blood magic to a point that we haven't quite got it to. It'd be nice. But since we're setting this up today, I may change it over. Realistically, I might to nodes. We'll see. But for right now, I think we'll just have this, don't connect here, don't connect. And then we'll just go right down into the ground. And I'll have to make a bunch of hardened stone and skystone facades. But that's fine. We'll go ahead. This the Livingwood is going to be an extract on green, always active. Or I'm sorry, insert. It'll just be insert. It won't be extracting anywhere. And this one will be an extract on, say, red, always active. And so then what we'll do is we will insert then onto red, and we will extract via the green line. Okay, so we'll just do the conduits. That should be fine. As long as all this stuff isn't visible, I'm pretty happy. I just want the builders visible, because it kind of makes sense. Actually, I don't need that. And I throw in this infused wood into there. It's going to get siphoned out and pumped over to here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our other shape card. This is a clearing quarry. And we are going to set it, it'll be this builder right here. And it's going to be here down to here that it's clearing. And keep running with redstone signal, which I think with ignore, I think it's just going to keep going forever. And there's one other thing that I want to do before I turn that on, because since we do have pure daisies up there, we don't want them to destroy our pure daisies, right? So we're going to say, oh yeah, we need a filter. So let me get that. So for some reason I was thinking it was a shape card that let me do the filter, but it lets me do, if I want to void those, but I'm not going to be handling any of those. We do want to make sure it's solid box. But before we get this thing up and running, we do want a filter module, one of these right here. So let me pop over, let me get that made real quick. And then I think we'll be ready to run it. So I'm also going to grab some wood too, so we can kind of get this thing going, because I've got a bunch of wood made up over here, or a bunch of wood over here. Okay, so there is our filter module. And then I'm going to go grab some wood and I'm going to sleep real quick. Which actually I've got a bunch of cherry wood here. So I'm going to steal some of that, I suppose. That's mostly from clearing out areas. But I've got a lot of oak too, but it doesn't really matter for us. And we'll go ahead and, well, let's go ahead and set this up first, and then we'll get it all going. So the filter module, we're going to say it's going to be whitelisted items, and we're going to say that you can break Livingwood. That's it. So anything else that's in there, you can't. You can't do that. So we're going to put that in, and then we're going to put in our quarry shape card. And we're going to go ahead and click that to kind of start it. You can see it pulls away all the living wood, and then it's immediately replaced with infused wood from this. So now that should be the last of the infused wood, and you can see that our living wood's been sent over. And so if we were feeding in, let's say, wood over into this, it would be dropping that and making the vibrant wood, which would then get sent over to here. And here in a second, which it should be enough time that it can, if it's like consistently dropping wood, that it can keep up. If worse comes to worse, we can speed that up. It's not really a big deal for us. We might change over to open crate. I wanted to go with the main reason I went with the precision droppers because it matches the colors more. Granted, I would love to have an open crate because it's a little bit more purist Britannia, but it's already kind of a non-pure system as it is, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, you can see it breaks away that living wood, just breaks it down. I love watching these things run. Now, I know on Enigmatica, the first go around with Enigmatica, we had a system that was more on request, and then it would keep so much stocked, I think a bit of a lower number than what we're going to be running here. But I think I prefer this system, and then we can expand it out to where, like right now I can do a stack per, minute or whatever. But ideally, I think I'd like to bump it up to where it can do, maybe 9 stacks. Maybe have a big 3x3 area of 3x3s. A big 9x9 monstrosity in here that can just super mass produce Livingwood. And we're going to be doing the same thing with Livingwood over there, but I'm just going to do it off camera because it's basically 2 builders is all it is. That's all it is. And then it just feeds arcane stone over is the only thing. But yeah, I think that'll be good for us. And then I can whip up a few facades. But yeah, so I'm going to end out this episode here. Next episode is an episode I'm actually really excited for because we're going to be doing 2 things. First up, we're going to be setting up our tree farm, which is going to be, I think, fun. I'm not sure what system we're going to do for trees just yet, but I think we're going to have fun with it. Chances are we're going to have a few different types of tree farms throughout the series, but this first one, I'm not sure what it's going to be. I'm going to try to avoid going with something like wood essence. We could easily go with wood essence, but it's not very exciting. It's going to be something that we'll do for our tree farm. Probably something magic based, be that blood magic, or be that Thumbcraft, or be that Botania. And it may come down to me needing to push a little bit of progression to do that. Like if we do Botania, I think we have most everything. Yeah, I guess we do, that we would need for kind of pushing that. So we might do a Botania setup, we'll see. Since we do have pretty much all the progression aspects out of the way for that. But we'll see. So we're going to be doing that, and then we're going to be doing this. This is actually one of the things I was most excited about getting back over to the magic build, because we're going to start working on the ceiling and finishing out the way this dome is going to work, because it's not just going to be a dome. I built this out, and I had mentioned that it wasn't going to stay just a dome, but basically for the initial shape for this lower section is the reason I built it out that way. And we get to start kind of working on a bit of fun with this floor, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be massive. The plan is for it to be tree farm and then working on here, but it could just end up being a tree farm episode and then working on this section the next episode. We'll see how things go and how long it takes for us to set up the tree farm. If it's Botania, it'll probably be most of the episode, if not all of the episode, setting up the tree farm. But we'll see. We shall see. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay updated with when new videos come out. I know we didn't get an absolute ton done this episode, like a full build or something like that, but the stuff that we did get done is important. It's important. I promise, this floor, it's going to make sense. I promise. So anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.